Hello children. Today your topic is equivalent weight or mass. It is the new topic, so please get ready with your notepad and pen. Now, what is equivalent mass? All of you have seen that some metals react with hydrogen, sometimes they react with oxygen, sometimes they react with chlorine. So, what is the relationship between the equivalent mass and mass of all these hydrogen, chlorine and oxygen? When the metals react with 1.008 gram of hydrogen. So the mass of metal which react with 1.008 gram of hydrogen, that mass of metal is called its equivalent mass. When metal react with oxygen, so the mass of metal which react with 8 gram of oxygen, that is known as its equivalent mass. When metal react with chlorine or displaces the chlorine, then how much amount of chlorine it will combine or displace, that we compare with 35.5 gram of chlorine. Means how much mass of metal will displace 35.5 gram of chlorine, that is known as its equivalent mass. So equivalent mass is just a comparison, it is a ratio. So we can say it is simply a number, it doesn't possess any units. Now there are several methods to calculate the equivalent mass of the substance. As one of the method is hydrogen displacement method. In this method, we use that metals which are easily displaced, which easily displace the hydrogen from the acids. Like zinc, magnesium, calcium, tin and iron metals easily displaces hydrogen from the acid as they are present above the hydrogen in the reactivity series. As here one example given to you, when metal react with HCl, an acid, so it will form metallic chloride and hydrogen. If directly the mass of the hydrogen is given, then we put that value, means mass of the metal divided by mass of the hydrogen evolved multiplied by 1.008, we get the equivalent mass of the metal. But sometimes instead of mass, volume is given in the question. So if, as it is given here, W1 gram of metal when react with acid, it will release V1 volume of hydrogen at temperature T1 and pressure V1. So here first we calculate or change the volume at STP. So volume, because 22,400 milliliter of hydrogen at STP has weight 2 grams. So what is the mass of V2 volume of hydrogen at STP? It should be 2 into V2 divided by 22,400. And this is the mass that we get at STP of mass of hydrogen that we get at STP. Now we have to calculate the equivalent mass of the metal. And equivalent mass of the metal is mass of the metal taken divided by mass of the hydrogen evolved at STP. So we have to put both the values, we get the equivalent mass of the metal. Here multiplication of 1.008 we can do, or we can omit it because it is approximate 1. So next process to find out the equivalent mass is oxide formation method. Some metals easily form their oxides either directly or indirectly. Means some metals directly react with oxygen to form the metallic oxide, and some metals first when they react with oxidizing agent and then on heating they form the metallic oxide. It is known as indirect method. So we have to calculate the mass of oxygen used during this reaction, and then we compare that ratio by the or that mass with the mass of 8 gram of oxygen. So let us see how to do. If mass of metal which react with oxygen is W1 and the metallic oxide which formed after the reaction is W2. So the mass of oxygen that is used during the reaction is W2 minus W1 gram. So equivalent mass of the metal is equal to mass of metal divided by mass of oxygen into 8. It is the equivalent mass of metal. Next method is oxide reduction method. Some method easily reduces their oxides and form the metal. Like here in equation given, metallic oxide when react with hydrogen it form the metal and water. If W1 gram of metallic oxide react with W2 gram of if W1 gram of metallic oxide when reduced it formed W2 gram of metal, then the mass of oxygen in metallic oxide is W1 minus W2. So the equivalent mass of the metal is mass of the metal divided by mass of the oxygen into 8, and we get the equivalent mass of the metal. Next method is chloride formation method. As some metals like sodium, potassium, silver and gold, they easily combine with chlorine and form their chlorides. So for these metals, we have to calculate the how much mass of chlorine used during the formation of chloride. As here, when M metal react with chlorine, it will form MCl2 or metallic chloride. The mass of the metal is given W1 gram and mass of the chloride formed is W2 gram. So the mass of chlorine in metallic chloride is W2 minus W1 gram. Hence we calculate the equivalent mass by using the formula mass of metal divided by mass of chlorine into 35.5. So by this in all these four methods, you can see that if the metal react with hydrogen or oxygen or chlorine, we can calculate its equivalent mass by comparing that mass of metal with the 1.008 gram of hydrogen or 8 gram of oxygen or 35.5 gram of chlorine. Now next method is metal displacement method. As we all know that most electropositive metal can displace the less electropositive metals from their salt solution. So here we have to use this property, as when one metal react with the aqueous solution of other metal. Like here, iron react with copper sulfate. It will deposit the copper after the reaction and iron sulfate form. Means iron metal displaces the copper metal from their salt solution. So, to calculate the equivalent mass, because the equivalent mass of the metals have the same ratio as the mass of the metal have. So, we can calculate the equivalent mass by using this equation as mass of the metal that taken and divided by mass of the metal that precipitated is equal to equivalent mass of the metal 1 divided by equivalent mass of the metal that is precipitated. Or in short, we can write down W1 by W2 is equal to E1 by E2. So, if we know the equivalent mass of any of the metal and mass of both the metals, then we can calculate the equivalent mass of the next or other metal. Next process is double displacement method. This method, all of you know that when some chemicals react together, they interchange their radicals and form the new compounds. Whenever the substance react together, they always react in their gram equivalent. As here, we can use the formula mass of the one of the reactant divided by mass of one of the product is equal to equivalent mass of that reactant divided by equivalent mass of the product. Means equivalent mass of the reactant and product has the same ratio as the mass of that reactant and product have. And one more thing, that equivalent mass of any compound, if they are formed by the radical, so they have the equivalent mass equal to the sum of the equivalent mass of their constituent particles or constituent radicals. As here, it has written that equivalent mass of AB is equal to sum of the equivalent mass of A plus equivalent mass of B. Similarly, equivalent mass of AD is equal to equivalent mass of A plus equivalent mass of D. So, if we know the equivalent mass of any two quantities or any two constituent, we can find out the equivalent mass of the third one. And we also know the mass of the reactant and product of that component from which the substance made. So, by using this formula, we can calculate the equivalent mass of the one of the reactant if we know the other two equivalent mass of other two reactants. Next method to calculate the equivalent mass is electrolysis method. What is electrolysis? Whenever we pass the electric current through an electrolytic solution or the fused state of the ionic substance electrolyte or the fused state of the electrolyte, then some chemical reaction takes place, and during this chemical reaction some substance moves or collected towards the one electrode, some collected towards the other electrode. And this process means how much amount of substance collected at any electrode is governed by two important laws. And these laws are first studied and given by Faraday. So these are known as Faraday's law of electrolysis. Now we study the first Faraday's law of electrolysis. According to this law, during the electrolysis of any substance, during the electrolysis of any electrolyte, the amount of substance that liberated or deposited or produced at a particular electrode is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed in the solution. Means amount of substance collected means W is directly proportional to Q, where Q is amount of electricity or charge passes through the solution. And we all know that Q is equal to I into T. Means Q is equal to current into time. So if we put this value of Q in the equation, we get W is proportional to IT. Or if we remove this proportionality sign, we have to write down W is equal to ZIT, where Z is known as a constant, and this constant is named as electrochemical equivalent. So in short, we can say that if we pass the 1 ampere current for 1 second in any electrolytic solution, the amount of substance that deposited at a particular electrode is equal to the electrochemical equivalent of that substance. So this is known as Faraday's first law. Now the second law, Faraday's second law of electrolysis. When the same quantity of electricity is passed through the solution of different electrolytes connected in series, the mass of the substance deposited at the electrode is directly proportional to their equivalent mass. This he can study by taking three electrolytic solutions as silver nitrate, copper sulfate and sulfuric acid. When he connected all the three electrolytic solutions in a voltmeter, and these voltmeter are connected through the electricity, and they collected these three solutions in three different containers, and the container are connected to the electricity and they pass the electric current through this solution. It was found that amount of silver that deposited and the mass of copper that deposited has the same ratio as the ratio in their equivalent mass of silver and equivalent mass of copper. Similarly, the mass of hydrogen that produced at cathode and the mass of silver deposited at cathode has the same ratio as the equivalent mass of hydrogen and equivalent mass of silver. So we can also write down like this: W is equal to W1 by W2 is equal to E1 by E2. As in previous equation, we know that W is equal to ZIT. So in place of W, we can also write down Z1IT and Z2IT. So this equation we can also write down E1 by E2 is equal to Z1 by Z2. It means that equivalent mass of any substance is directly proportional to its electrochemical equivalent. Or if we remove this proportionality sign, we have to put some constant. So here we are using the F as a constant, which is known as Faraday's constant, and its value is 96,500 Coulomb. So we can also write down this equation like Z is equal to E by F, or Z means electrochemical equivalent of a substance is equal to equivalent mass of the substance divided by 96,500 gram per Coulomb. Next is how to calculate the equivalent mass of different substance. As equivalent weight of an element we have to calculate if we know the mass of that element and valency of that element. Then by using the formula equivalent weight is equal to atomic mass of the element divided by valency of the element, we can calculate the equivalent mass of the element. As sodium has the atomic mass 23 and valency 1. So it has the equivalent mass 23. Next is magnesium. We know that magnesium has atomic mass 24 and valency of magnesium is 2. So the equivalent mass of magnesium is 12. Similarly, the other, if sometimes you can see that some metals have variable valency. At that time, because the metals have any metal, when they have the same atomic mass, but they have variable valency, so at that time we use the valency that is used in the given compound. As when we are using the cuprous salt or cupric salt. Cuprous has the valency, copper has the valency in cuprous +1 and copper has the valency 2 in case of cupric salt. So if we find out the equivalent weight of copper metal, we have to write down atomic mass of cuprous ion divided by 1. And if we find out the equivalent weight of cupric metal in some compound, we have to write down atomic mass of copper metal divided by 2, because in case of cupric it has the valency 2. Similarly, in case of ferrous oxide FeO and ferric oxide Fe2O3, where iron show the variable valency. So in case of ferrous ion, we have to write down the atomic mass of iron, that is 56 divided by valency 2. But in case of ferric ion, we have to write down atomic mass of metal iron, that is 56. But here the valency is 3, so we have to write down the 3. It means same metal, if they are showing the variable valency, they have the different equivalent mass. Next is equivalent mass of normal salt. If we know the formula mass of the given salt and total charge on the cation, then we calculate the equivalent mass of that normal salt. As in case of NaCl, we have to write down the formula mass of NaCl and then we divide it by 1, because here total charge on cation is 1. Next example is Na2CO3, sodium carbonate. In this case, we have to write down formula mass of sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, but here there are 2 sodium atoms in the molecule. So total charge on cation is 2. So we have to write down formula mass of sodium carbonate divided by 2. Another example is calcium chloride. If we have to find out the equivalent mass of calcium chloride, we write down the formula mass of calcium chloride, CaCl2, divided by total charge. Calcium carries 2 positive charge, so we have to write down 2. Now I think it is clear to you. Next is how to calculate the equivalent weight of an acidic salt. Acidic, if we know the formula mass of the given acidic salt, we have to write down that. And we can see the how many replaceable hydrogen atoms are present in the formula mass, in the formula of the compound. As in case of NaHCO3, sodium bicarbonate, we have to calculate the formula mass and write down that. And here we can see that NaHCO3, only one replaceable hydrogen atom is present. So to find out the equivalent mass, we can write down formula mass of the given salt divided by 1. If we have to calculate the equivalent weight of calcium bicarbonate, the formula is CaHCO3 whole twice. So in that case, the formula weight of the salt is, you calculate by putting the atomic mass of calcium, hydrogen, carbon and oxygen and calculate that value, CaHCO3 whole twice. You get the formula weight. Next, here 2 hydrogen atoms are present which are replaceable. So we had to write down the number 2 on the place number of replaceable hydrogen atoms. Next is equivalent weight of an acid. We all know that acid, when ionized, it furnish or it produce some hydrogen ion in the solution. That hydrogen ion is known as basicity of an acid. So if we know the molecular mass of the acid and basicity of the acid, we can find out the equivalent mass of the acid. As in case of HCl, the basicity is 1. In case of H2SO4, the basicity is 2. In case of oxalic acid, also the basicity is 2, H2C2O4. So you put the molecular mass and then write down the basicity, you get the equivalent mass of that acid. Next is equivalent weight of a base. Base, when dissolved in water, or we can say base in the solution, produce hydroxyl ion. So how much hydroxyl ion it will furnish in the solution, that is known as acidity of the base. So to find out the equivalent weight of the base, we have to write down the molecular mass of the base divided by acidity of the base. Now, next topic is equivalent weight of an oxidant or reductant. Sometimes during the chemical reaction, in any chemical reaction, sometimes we can see that some electrons are gained or some electrons are lost by any molecule. So if we know the number of electron lost or gained during the reaction and we know the formula mass of that salt or that compound, we can find out the equivalent mass of that oxidant or reactant substance. As here, for example, it is given potassium dichromate. Dichromate ion when react, here you can see there are 6 electrons which gained during the reaction by the chromate ion, dichromate ion. So equivalent mass of dichromate ion is 294 divided by 6, we get 49. Similarly, if ferrous ion is oxidized in the ferric ion, it will lose 1 electron. So in that case, we have to write down the formula mass of the oxidant or reductant, like here ferrous sulfate. So we have to write down that, and after that we divide it by 1 because number of electrons that has changed is 1. Next is gram equivalent weight. When equivalent weight expressed in gram, it is known as gram equivalent weight. Next is how to calculate number of gram equivalent. If we know the mass of the substance in gram and gram equivalent weight, then we can calculate the number of gram equivalent of any substance. As here it is given for sulfuric acid, mass taken 4.9 gram, equivalent weight is 49. So number of gram equivalent is mass taken divided by equivalent weight, it will be 0.1. Similarly, in other case, in case of oxalic acid, potassium dichromate and NaOH, you can see these. You have to calculate. If you know the mass taken and equivalent mass, you put the value and get the number of gram equivalent. So children, this is all for today. I hope you understood this topic very well and try to do the numerical based on this. Thank you. Have a nice day.